Preparing for Payor Enrollment. How to prepare new practices for Payor Enrollment. There are several factors to consider when opening a new practice or facility. To prepare your new business, it is important to consider some very important matters prior to credentialing. Are you considering using your Social Security number instead of a tax ID number? If so, you will not be able to hire any staff if you use your Social Security number. You will share your Social Security number with each insurance carrier on every medical claim you send in for payment, as well as your medical biller or billing company. This means you are exposing your personal number to a lot of people. Additionally, a tax ID number keeps your personal assets separate from your business assets. So it's a good idea to have that in place, even if you are a solo provider. Know how you'll set up your organization for tax purposes. Deciding how your new organization will be incorporated should be a discussion with your lawyer or CPA. Ensuring that your organization is set up appropriately for tax purposes is an important process, because changing your organizational type may require a new tax ID number and therefore new contracts with insurances. Apply for your tax ID number. A tax ID number or Social Security number is required in order to start your credentialing. If you do not have a tax ID number but are planning on getting one, you should do it prior to requesting credentialing contracts with the insurance companies. Apply for your Type 2 NPI. We all know providers have an NPI number, and so do tax ID numbers. A provider NPI is a Type 1, and a business NPI is a Type 2. It is not required to have a Type 2 NPI, but it is best practice, especially with Medicare. Additionally, the business NPI delineates the practice from the provider in case they are the same name. Know your start date for employment or the opening of a new clinic. A start date is required by Medicare and other insurance companies. Medicare will perform a site visit after the initial application is filed for your business, so you will need to be fully operational in order to pass inspection. If you are credentialing a provider to an existing tax ID, have the employment agreement in place prior to credentialing. Establish your location. A location is required for most practices and entities except for mobile providers or telemedicine practices. A mailing address is not a location, nor should you use your home address just to get the credentialing process started early. It is best to use the correct information on every application the first time. One thing to keep in mind about using a home address is that it will be published on all of the online provider directories for the insurances you choose to credential with, so have a location secured before you start the process. Open a bank account in your business's name. This seems like a simple idea, but Medicare is very particular about the bank account name when applying for PAR status. You even need to be sure that the punctuation in the business name on your CP575 matches your bank account name. If the tax ID name and the bank account name are different, your bank can write a letter identifying the account as the business listed on the CP575 letter from the IRS. Update CAQH. If you are a provider, you must update CAQH prior to requesting credentialing for a new business or to be linked to an existing business. CAQH must show the new business and start date so that the application can be verified. Also, businesses do not have CAQH numbers. Only people do. As you can see, there are many things to consider before you start the credentialing process. Contact First Credentialing today to get started on your credentialing journey. Remember, we've got you covered.